My name is Romain. I'm coming from France, technical floor company. So as Mr. Peter said, we are collaborating together on all the segments. You will see that the perfume industry involves different segments from EDTs to home care, personal care. It's quite wide. So today we're going to go through quickly the history of perfume, just to give you some insight quickly, and then we will go through what are the best sellers and how the perfumes are working. Okay, how we are able to come up with the right formula for the perfumes, and then we will end the presentation by showing you how we can mix the fastest moving references with other ones in order to create new perfumes and come up with original perfumes. So, a few words about Technical Floor, maybe quickly. We are a French company based in the south of France, okay, with a turnover around 70 million euros. So we have three different branches. First one is the fragrance branch, okay, it's under the name of Technical Floor. So that's what you are interested in today. But then we also have another branch for flavors, okay, for the food industry, which is also very big. And then we have a third branch that is for ingredients. So ingredients, this is what you're going to use to make your perfumes. Okay, so perfumes, you have to see it as just like if you are cooking, you are mixing different ingredients. Okay, so it's a recipe, and you are using different ingredients. To give you an idea, in the fragrance industry, we are working with more than 3,000 ingredients. Okay, so anytime you do a formula, a recipe for a perfume, you have to choose in between 3,000 different raw materials, ingredients. But before we know about all those 3,000 raw materials, you will see that the perfume started with very, very few. Okay, so this is why I want to start here with the perfume history quickly. So we're talking about 13,070, 13,000 year. Okay, and this is where the people, they start exploring the world. Okay, they start to discover new land, new continent, and of course, as they are traveling, they are bringing back to Europe new raw materials that, of course, they couldn't find in Europe. For example, the vanilla, for example, when they traveled to Madagascar, they started finding new raw materials, and they thought, okay, maybe we can try to mix them with what we know in Europe, and that's why this is really during the Middle Ages that the perfumery really started. Okay, before people were just like playing around with what they could find on the ground, but during the Middle Ages they start working on new techniques, how to extract the oil from the fruits, the plants, and everything. And as they are working with more and more new raw materials, they're just getting better at it. That's how it really started. Then after the Middle Ages comes the Renaissance era, that starts from Italy and then spread to Europe, especially in Paris. So in the Italian cities, this is where you will find the first perfumers traders. So they are the ones that are really doing the mixing of the ingredients, the extraction of the oil, and the first perfumes or EDT. And those guys, they traveled to France, to Paris, because the biggest user at the time were actually the royal court in Paris. Okay, with Louis XIV, and all the kings at that time. So it's okay. Cool. You see, that's those guys who were actually doing the extraction themselves, and they traveled to Europe and to Paris to start selling the perfumes. Okay, so they were the first sales guy in perfume. Okay? They were my ancestors. Let's say. And then comes so at the end of the 19th century, this is what we call the Industrial Revolution in Europe, and this is really where the perfumery techniques are developed. Okay, and this is where we start to see the EDTs as the way we know today. Okay, so they find new extraction techniques and new natural raw materials. They start also to do some testing in labs, because you will see that people, when they come to you, they will ask you, okay, I want natural fragrances and with only natural ingredients. But actually it doesn't mean anything, because at that time, end of the 19th century, they started discovering new raw materials that you can only create in laboratories. Okay, for example, Acqua di Gio, or Cool Water by Davidoff. Inside the formula, inside the recipe of the perfume, there is lots of what we call cadon. Cadon is what gives you that sea effect, the sea breeze effect. And the sea breeze effect is not something you can capture in the nature. You need to recreate that molecule in a lab to give you that sea freshness effect. So that's why I don't like to put in balance the natural and the synthetic raw materials, because actually they all come together in order to create a good perfume. If you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna use only natural ingredients, it means that you are just limiting yourself with the number of ingredients you can work with. So your perfume will be more limited. Since the 20th century, so this is where you have the first best sellers in fragrances. So this is why you have the first best sellers in fragrances, and you have fragrances like Shalimar. I know you have one Shalimar downstairs. Chanel No. 5 also has been created in 1925. Okay, 26, sorry. And for example, it's interesting because I have a Chanel No. 5 here. That's chance, but because in the Chanel No. 5, what's interesting is there is a synthetic raw material that you can clearly identify when you smell it. It has like a metallic effect. It's called the aldehyde. Okay. Aldehyde is the ingredient. Cool. Thank you. So in this, there is I call it metallic effect. That's the aldehyde, and that metallic effect is like the signature scent of Chanel number 5. Okay, and that metallic effect was actually a synthetic raw material that came out from a lab, not from the nature. And you see that Chanel number 5 until today is still one of the biggest perfume worldwide. We can smell also Shalimar, because it will allow me to tell you something very important when it comes to perfume. You know, the raw materials are something, they are alive, okay? So they keep evolving through the time. So since it evolves, it means that the scent and the strength will also change as the raw material macerates in the EDT. Okay, so that's very important, because really that's a key point in the perfume business. It is very true for perfumes that involves lots of vanilla, like the Shalimar. Shalimar is full of vanilla and coumarin, okay? And those kind of raw materials, they are the ones that evolve the most with time, okay? If you take, for example, J'adore by Dior, J'adore is, I think we have one here, we're going to compare. J'adore, you know, is made mainly of jasmine, okay, which is a soft flower, white flower. So when you compare a white flower to a vanilla, the vanilla is very sweet, you know, compared to the flower. So with time, the vanilla will macerate much more than the jasmine, okay? When I say macerate, it means that the strength will get even stronger with time. So I think you all know what.
They have J'adore.
If you have J'adore, that's great, so that we can compare. You see the jasmine. Of course, there is maceration. There is maceration in all the perfumes, but all the ones that are very sweet, very fruity. So that's very important for you to keep in mind, especially when you're talking to clients. All the perfumes that are fruity, vanilla, sweet, you know, sticky. So I'm talking about all the Pink Chiffon, Sugar Baby, Good Girl, Pure Seduction, all the Victoria's Secret perfume, Escada, Stella Cherry, Escada Cherry in the air. All those ones, they will have an important phase of maceration. So it means that the client, when they receive the perfumes, sometimes they could tell you, come on, it doesn't smell the same than before, it's weaker. That I hear that so often, but if the people, they wait like 2 weeks, most of the time the perfume stabilize, okay, balance itself, and then after like 1 month or 2 months, all the perfumes will smell the same with the same strength, okay? Because the way we do the production in France is 100% automated, okay? Technical floor today, we are, I think, the first or the second most automatized company worldwide. Okay, So that's very good. That was Mr. Peter came to France and he saw the infrastructure. It's a very new factory. We invested 17 millions of euros in that factory. So today, and I think for the coming years, we have a strong competitive advantage for that. And why am I telling you that? It's because in terms of production, the possibility of making a mistake, in the formula, like we don't mix the right, is very less compared to other companies where it's not fully automated. In our company, when you validate like a formula, a recipe, okay, it goes into the computers, okay, in the informatics system, and since it is fully automatized, the machineries, they just follow the instructions from the computer. So the risk of having a mistake in the dosage or in the raw materials used is very minimum. Yes. That's why maceration is key, and that's something you need to make it clear with the client. Okay, they need to understand that. I'm not saying that there is no mistake. A mistake cannot happen. It's possible, but most of the time it's related to the maceration. Okay. Starting from the 2000, okay, 2000 until 2010. You see many perfumes, especially coming from the US, all the fruity perfume that are working out so well today. This is where those perfumes really started, okay, during the year 2000. Okay. This is why you have Sauvage, La Vie est Belle, Escada has launched many perfumes during that time, and that fruity trend that is still on today started in the year 2000. You have also many flankers, what we call flankers, the brands, when they launch a new edition and it's working out well, they start to do some flankers out of it. So you have Sauvage, now you have Sauvage Elixir, for example, or 1 million, you have 1 million gold, 1 million private, you see? That's what we call flankers. So that's a quick sum up of what we've been through. I leave it to Peter, so it's going to be your presentation now. So you can have access anytime. Okay, few words about the raw materials, because I keep talking about raw materials, but you need to understand more into details what it is exactly. So I told you 3,000 raw materials in total, okay? Of course, we don't use them all the time. There are maybe 2,000 raw materials that we use a lot, okay? And we can classify them into different categories. Balsamic, all the raw materials that give you a woody effect or a spicy effect, a floral effect, so all the jasmine, rose, coquelicot, you see, flowers, green, aldehydic, that's the Chanel 5 I told you about. So this is how we classify the raw materials. You see that the main categories, okay, when you look at the graph, are floral, so all the women perfume, basically, woody, all the men perfume, basically. The woody, I'm talking about Sauvage, Denis Desire, Cream, stuff like that, okay? What else? Fruity is also a big category, okay? We usually mix fruity floral, okay, in many perfumes. There is also, so when I started the presentation, I told you that there are different segments, EDTs, home care. So there is a specific family for each segment, okay? For example, for dishwashing liquids, for example, the main categories will be citrus, green, okay? And that's it, basically, okay? because it's a code, okay? The dishwash needs to smell like a lemon, needs to smell like a mint, you know, or green fresh. If you uh, check today the EDT for women, it's a mix in between fruity and floral, mainly, okay? Um, more and more, until before, the EDT for men were mainly a mix of woody, green, a bit of spicy, okay? But more and more, and a good example for that are the EDT from Tom Ford, okay? The Oud Wood, that is a bestseller here in Nigeria. You know, is a mix of woody, spicy, and more we mix ambery, leathery, okay, with animalic notes. Okay. Initially, those animalic notes and ambery leathery, they were used by the Muslims. Okay. If you go to Saudi Arabia, for example, or closer to it, if you go to Kano, all those guys they would use Arabic scents, okay, that are mainly made of wood, which is very animalic, ambery, bit balsamic. So that's a new evolution that we know that more and more EDT for men now they're going not 100% Arabic, but it's a mix between Arabic and
English.
Yeah, English. Westerners. So this, I think you all know that pyramid. When you smell a perfume for the first 5 minutes, you smell the top notes. Then 5 minutes to 1 hour, that's the middle notes. And then after, it's the base. When you put a perfume in the morning, I think you notice that when you come back home, it doesn't smell the same than in the morning because in the evening you only have the base. Of course, the more budget you can put in your perfume, the wider the pyramid will be. Okay, so the longer, the more lasting you will have if the budget is higher. There is also one thing depending on the segment you're working in. For example, if you work for home care or dishwashing liquid, for example, dishwashing liquid, you don't really care about the lasting.
Yes.
Okay, you care a little bit about the middle, but what you really care about are the top notes. Okay, when you do your dishes, you need a very good blooming for 5 minutes, and then that's it. Okay, so that's why also that the perfumes for dishwashing liquids, home care, they are cheaper than EDTs. It's simply because we don't need to be good at all stages. Okay, we just need to be efficient here. That we don't care on. That part is very expensive. To get a good lasting, that's the most expensive part of the formula most of the time. Once again, that's the vanilla, musky, coumarin. So everything that macerates a lot. Remember, they are the one that gives the lasting. Okay. The floral, the citrus, it's mainly in the top. Okay, citrus, green, spicy, floral, fruity, marine. That's the middle. Okay, and the base are everything that is heavy, very sweet, vanilla ingredients. So you have a sum up again of the different olfactive families. So it was good to know when you welcome a client. You can also start from the olfactive family. Are you more like an aromatic, citrus person, or are you more like a woody oriental person? So it might be interesting to have maybe some raw materials in the lab, like one for oriental, one for woody, one for aromatic, just to make them, because people they don't really know what they like. So you make them smell, and then you find out they are more that type of guy, that type of person.
Oh, sorry. The Fuji and the chickpea. I think the Fuji is in more flower
Yeah, it's a mix of floral
Flower.
and aromatic.
Aromatic. Why the Kipri is like is it leaf?
The chypre is an accord. Okay, that's the it's an accord that a good example is Coco Mademoiselle.
Oh, okay.
Coco Mademoiselle is a chypre accord.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you have that also for a cologne. When you're talking about a cologne, you're talking about an accord in between three different raw materials. Okay, so that's it. Floriental also, it's an accord in between different raw materials, floral and oriental. The different categories in your collection, okay, so that you can take the client straight to the right selection of perfume. Okay, so those are examples depending on the category. Okay, so if the person tells you, okay, I like everything that is very fresh, citrus, lemon, those are going to be the perfumes that fit in that selection. Okay, CK1, we have Eau Sauvage, Acqua di Gio. So that's very fresh, fresh aromatic perfumes. Floral perfume. So I already talked about the J'adore by Dior. Chanel number 5, Aldéhydique. Okay. What else? Floral, you see, they even put fruity because floral fruity is really a mix that often goes together. Okay. Let me see from the fruit, but it's very fresh, and it is used to bring that freshness to the perfume. So that's a fruity ingredient. Maybe you recognize. So that's an aldehyde. That's what goes into the Chanel.
Yeah.
When you smell it alone, okay, on its own, it's not so pleasant actually. It's a bit rough, you know. It's, yeah. But if you just put a little bit in the formula, this is what can create the signature scent of the perfume. Yeah. You see, that's the metallic effect I was telling you about. You see Peter Fougère.
Yeah.
So it can fit to anything that is woody oriental, citrus, aquatic. So you have Hugo Boss, Bleu de Chanel, very classic one like Dracar Noir, of course here Cool Water by Davidoff, 1 million also. So 1 million. What do you think? Which one will have the highest maceration effect? Is it 1 million or Sauvage? You have the 1 million scent in mind, you know? You have the 1 million? Yeah?
Yes.
1 million, yeah. Yes. All the needs of the market. Okay, so that's why we always say the more references at the beginning, the better, because at least you cover a wider range. That kind of graph is very useful because you see here you have the different olfactive families. Okay, floral, citrus, fruity, oriental, woody, floriental, sheep, and you can just place your perfume on the graph, okay? And if you are able to cover all the needs of the market, it means that at the end your graph should be full of products, okay? If the graph is full only like here, it's completely empty, it means that you are missing all those market segments, okay? All the fruity, floral, because after you have different subdivisions, okay? So I will let you go through it, but you have floral rose, floral fruity, floral green, floral citrus. You see some different combinations. And you need to make sure that you are able to come up to cover all the needs of the market. Okay. So here it's quite empty because my selection was quite limited. Okay. But that's an interesting to show your client when they are starting a business. They need to understand that they have to cover all the major needs of the market. Okay, and as an expert, you are the one guiding them through that. Okay. Okay, so this I'll let you go through it, but one thing to remember is one perfume. We can adapt it for any kind of product. Okay, so for example, those ones, the Boy Avion, which is actually Le Mâle Aviator. In that presentation, I did two different references. The first one is for EDTs and perfumes, so that one I think you even have that one. But then I created with perfumers another reference, okay, that is a bit cheaper, and the formula is not exactly the same because in that formula the perfumers will focus more on the top and the middle notes, okay, not so much on the base, okay, because that one will be more for cosmetics and soap, okay. So it smells Le Mâle, okay, but it's more adapted for cosmetic products, bar soap products. Okay. You can put that EDT reference in a bar soap product or cosmetic product, it will work, huh? But it will not be ideal, okay, for the scent to come out nicely. Okay.
So where's the emphasis on the EDT?
Sorry?
The top note, EDT. What's the emphasis in terms of the smell? The top note and the middle note?
The every stages.
Everything.
Yeah.
This is not ideal.
The EDT, we know that the blooming is very important, okay, and the lasting as well.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do, because still the price we need to be competitive, okay? So we're gonna put maybe I don't know, 40% of our budget. We're gonna put it on the top note, okay, to make sure we have a nice blooming, okay, because people when they open the bottle will see. So, we're going to do some saving, I think, more on the middle notes in order to allow. So we're going to put maybe like 30% in the middle, okay, and then or 20% in the middle, okay, and then 40% again in the base, okay. This is how we articulate the budget. This is to be after, you know, Peter has even started some high-end range, and with that budget we are able to be very good at all stages, okay. But this is how we manage the formula. The perfume that you have, basically we make sure that it's balanced perfume and we are okay at all stages. Okay.
Do you have any questions? No questions. Okay. If you don't have, let me help you to ask questions. If you have any questions. Like this morning, somebody called me and he was here when okay, before he came in, complaining that the beverage she bought last was different from what she got now. So I was trying to explain to her that it's just the different the stages of maceration that is causing it. That if you first buy perfume now, by the time you buy tomorrow, there's a tendency that the one you are buying in future, I mean the one you bought now will be stronger than the one you are buying in future because of the aging, the period to macerate, So that has a huge say on the strength of, the strength
The way people they store the perfume.
yes, and storage. I'm just saying this so that you know how to attend to clients even when we are not around. Storage has to play here. You have to keep your perfume in a cool environment, not high degree temperature heat. Then I've spoken to some clients who are also traveling, moving around with their perfumes in their car trunk. Your car trunk could be very hot, especially here. So I've spoken to them that they should stop displaying or moving around with their perfume in their car trunk. If you are going to put it in your car boot, you have to get a bag, padded bag that is that can absorb heat. That can prevent heat from penetrating. Then another thing that also can affect use perceiving perfume effectively is your mood. If you are not in a good mood, psychologically you may not be able to smell because until you have a balance of a balanced state of if you're psychologically if you are stable, you'll be able to perceive very well. But if you are not stable, maybe you have a challenge or nasal congestion can also affect the sense of smell. So these are things that you should be able to explain to your client once they call and they say, oh, it's perfect. Except maybe they requested for a low grade from what they are buying before. You understand? Obviously, there's going to be a big decision between the smell, because the higher the price in perfume, the higher the quality. The lower the price, the lower the quality. So these are all you should all know to explain better to your client when they call you to complain about perfumes. Then at times, the way your application also matters. You are somebody that uses it well. I use this demonstration often, and people laugh. If you have a spray perfume, you just put it like this, dot, dot. To me, you're going to have a dot, dot compliment. But if you spray it well, some people will use it like, you spray it properly, you wear it properly, it will announce itself. You don't need to talk about it. You understand? So application also in most cases matter. So I think that's my own contribution towards that. So please take note.
In this shop, okay. We put Baccarat Rouge, Sauvage, 1 million, not more than 5-6 EDTs that are well known, okay. And after they know that, for example, that's Baccarat Rouge here, okay. So if the guy tells you I like Baccarat Rouge, you know that Baccarat Rouge has like sisters, brothers and sisters all around in that same area that the guy could buy actually. Okay, if the guy likes like Baccarat Rouge, he could buy everything that is next to Baccarat Rouge in the graph. Okay, if he likes Sauvage, Sauvage is here, so you could propose all the other perfumes that are in that area. Okay. So that's why I think it's interesting to have that.
I think another thing that is very important that I just remember right now is that We set the time with a number that if you first come in contact with a fake product, if you have an opportunity to see the original, you will not be convinced that the original is the original because you first come in contact with fake product. So and also there's a tendency that when you buy a particular brand from a particular country, let's say from UK, from France, there's a tendency that there's going to be a slight change in the smell because they are not formulated by the same person. You understand? So all these are things that you should put into consideration when you are trying to explain to people about perfumes.
Yeah, it's exactly when you ask your, I don't know, if your mom is doing an apple pie for you, and then your girlfriend is doing an apple pie for you, you are at the end you're eating an apple pie, but the taste might be a little bit different.
Yes.
Okay, but still it's an apple pie. You see, so a sauvage from a company can be slightly different from a sauvage from another company because of course the recipe, even though they follow the same recipe more or less, the ingredients can vary a bit.
Maybe slightly.
At the end, at least there should be a little closeness or similarity to both. You may not. In most cases, when you see there are some product, there are products that they are the same everywhere. I think 1 million is 1 million. You perceive it from any supplier. Yeah, sugar maybe as well. You know, they are savage to some extent. You perceive it. Creed Aventus too. They are also.
And that's a very important point what you said, Peter, because the first one that brings a new perfume in the market is the one that is setting up the standard for that perfume. So if the perfume picks up, even though it has nothing to do with the original launched by the official company, the standard for that perfume will be that guy. Okay. So that's very important to keep that in mind. And that's why sometimes it's better to match the scent from the company who was selling it, who has sold it the first at the first stage, rather than matching the original, because we need to match the scent that is selling in the market.
Yes.
So don't hesitate to ask your customers to bring you the original scent they're buying. Okay. I don't care. We don't care whether it comes from the official company or from a distributor. Ask them to bring you the scent, and we'll match the same scent.
Okay, so I really is online.
Someone was asking.
Okay, somebody wants to ask.
Good. I think it's good for today.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate to have a look at it. You have all the details here.
If somebody is asking technical, like you should record and let them see you, please. Is it possible?
Okay, it's on video, so we'll put it on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
I can see you, I can see Happy, I can see Blessing, I can see Chidera. You are all welcome. Yes, we have a video. We upload it on our YouTube so that you can access it. Thank you for joining me.